Right, so following on from the last video then, we can bond the two halves of the Targa panel together. Now obviously this is a different roof panel to the one shown in the last video. This is the panoramic one, but it doesn't matter. The principles are exactly the same. The underside section is the exact same as well. It's just the outer skin that's different. But I'm going to demonstrate on this one how these two halves get bonded together. I'll lift away the glazed panel and we can see the flange between the two sections. I'll just highlight a couple of very slight differences, but the process of bonding them both together is the same. So with the glazed panel lifted away, we can see the flange. Just get a close up on there. Now with the standard version of the Targa panel, this outer skin would obviously just come straight across here. And this edge here, there'd be a little gap, but that would get sealed to the underside of the outer skin. All the way around, and then there's a carpeted trim panel that fits up to the underside of the Targa so you don't see the fiberglass texture, fiberglass surface. But these two halves now, they've been test fitted, just like in the previous video. Everything lines up nice and flush there. Same at the back. Everything lines up. There's a nice even gap. If I run my finger along the top of the glass, it's not pinching anywhere. So that's even. Same at the other side. And these little rubber blobs, these are just blobs of Sikaflex which have been put on previously, left to go hard. They can be cut down, they can be sliced down to make sure that the glazed panel doesn't sit too low. They just act as little rubber spacers. So when we do come to bond this glazed panel in, I can just seal in between, sit it down, and then you know it's not going to sink any further. It needs to be flush with the front and the back edge. But that's for another video. For now, I'll take these two sections off and show how it gets bonded together. All of these bond faces have been previously primed with Sika 215 primer, so they're ready to accept sealant now. Both of these faces here, along the side, same around the back, and also the same on the inner section. I'll just pop that down there. Along here, and the side as well. Both areas along the back, same along the front. So when these two parts are bonded together, it becomes very stiff. The two sections quite flimsy on their own, but together when they're bonded, it stiffens up massively, becomes one complete bonded structure. So we'll get the sealant on now. But first, we just need to mask off the leading edge of the windscreen and the rear section as well. Just before I apply any sealant, I'm going to run a length of inch tape all the way around the circumference, so that if any sealant oozes out from the flanges, it doesn't stick to the face where we don't need it. Same on the inner and the outer. So just around here, it just avoids any mess afterwards. We're all masked up around the edges now. That's the inner, same on the outer, just around the flange. It stops anything that oozes out from attaching itself to the outer surface where we don't want it. So now we can get it sealed and get the two halves bonded together. Right, the two halves sandwiched together, they're going to slide in at the front in the normal way, and then we're going to engage the rear section as well. When the two parts are in, we need to make sure that the inner is banged straight forward so that it slides like that. When the inner section is in position, we can make sure that the outer is sat nicely as well. So bang the lower section forward, just make sure that's sat in position. We can see that that's nice and flush there. So we can see it's sitting flush at the front there, that's nice. No gaps between the leading edge of the Targa and the screen rubber, so that's good. In a second we're going to engage the rear section. Make sure everything's sat in position. That's all good. This gap along here is nice and parallel. There's a contour in the underside of the Targa panel there, but it's running parallel to the header rubber, so that's in the right place. The gap here where the outer skin overlaps the inner is nice and even. Same on this side. So now we can just tape everything down if it needs it, and just make sure it sets in this position. That'll be good. Right, final checks. Nice and flush at the front. Even gap. Sometimes I tape this side area here across onto the screen just to keep it pulled forwards, but it doesn't need it on this car. It's a nice snug fit there. Parallel to the top of the glass. The contour lines up. Same there as well. So that's nice. Same at this side, top of the glass is parallel. Contour lines up there and at the bottom there. All fitting nice. All we do now is leave it to set. One thing I am going to do on this though, on this car, the gap just opens up ever so slightly in the middle there, but there is some movement on this. I can pull that. So I'm going to tape that back to the rear section, just to pull it back a mil or two, just to even that gap ever so slightly. And that's it. Right, we're all taped up, everything's in position. Just pulled it back a little bit on this back edge here, just to flex that top piece back a little bit and tighten the gap so it's even. We're all good. Quick check on the inside, make sure nothing's oozing out. That's all fine. We can run a bead of sealant along there afterwards if need be, but for now it's just a case of letting the two halves set together in the position that they need to be in. So we'll leave this overnight now to set. Next job in the morning, unmask it all, slice away any stray sealant from the flange underneath, and then we can start on the Targa seals.